Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show. Ryan, how do you pronounce your last name exactly?
It's Stevens. Yeah.
Stevens, really, with a PH?
Stevens with a PH. I get that one all the time. Okay, Steffens, whatever. God, it's so difficult.
Ryan
It's
Stevens, welcome to ATV Talk. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's my pleasure. I've heard a lot about you. We've had a great pre-talk while we were setting all this up. So we have to give Valeria a huge shout out for going to the extra work to make this show look really good. But you're a Baja racer, conformed snowboarder into a motorcycle guy. I got to hear some of this backstory on where you come from and how the transition from snowboarding to motorcycles happened.
Yeah, I think that's more of a SoCal kid thing. We're lucky to live here. We're outside every day playing in the streets, skateboarding with friends, and growing up, going to the beach and splashing and playing, taking on surfing and all this stuff. So like board sports was always the dynamic growing up. And then later, towards the end of high school, snowboarding was evolving. So I was skiing. Okay, snowboards came along. I was, wow, snowboards. We skateboards on the snow. So fun.
But we live in Southern California. There's no snow here.
Yeah, but actually a few hours away we have Big Bear, so we'd go camping, or not camping, but get a cabin with our family when we were little. And, like I said, snow skiing was a thing as well. We have everything. We have surfing, skating, snowboarding, dirt bikes. You want it, SoCal has it. And then we're right here at the border. So in a minute, we'll talk about crossing the border and doing Mexico. San Diego is a blessed city.
It is,
yeah, to say the least. Yeah.
So you've transitioned into snowboarding. At what age did you do that?
Snowboarding came along, when I was like probably 13, 14, I got my first snowboard. Wow, this is so cool. And then, school, I wasn't always the best student. So our senior year, we decided to take off to Utah and do the snowboard thing. I think that was probably like 95, 96. So now I'm giving away my age as well.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah,
like
brother.
I said earlier, you don't look your age.
Right on, appreciate it. It's all these action sports to keep you young.
Right.
Kind of.
The more movement there is.
We're outside a lot.
Exactly. When you're in Utah and you're snowboarding, you're 16, 17, 18 years old. How did you guys survive? Because you had to be doing odd jobs or doing something to make a little bit of money.
Oh yeah, even better than that, we got the job at the local resort as the janitor crew. So we were allowed to snowboard. When the resort shut down, we cleaned, but we were friends with the bartenders, so they'd leave us pitchers of beer, so we drank as much as we cleaned, and we had way too much fun. So that lasted about as long as it lasted. And then dirt bikes came into the scene.
So your transition from snowboarding, you mentioned in our pre-talk that you had an injury.
Yeah, that kind of really turned me on to the dirt bike, because right around that era, probably like 97, 98, we were getting pretty competitive with snowboarding. I took a really bad fall off a big jump, and I blew my knee out. I blew my right knee out really bad. It needed surgery, and snowboarding was really tough at that time. A friend of mine turned me on to dirt bikes, and suspension took the impact away from my knee. So it was a weird transition to dirt bikes for me, because I was just shoveling jumps in the hills, snowboarding, and then here's your dirt bike, and I just wanted to go to the hills and continue jumping. So it was shoveling jumps, going to the hills, and now I have this dirt bike, but I don't know how to ride the thing or shift or gears or anything. So I would just send it, and a lot of times I would bail and crash. Figuring it out was a tough transition. So here we are with dirt bikes now,
So did you do any like motocross racing to learn to ride, or was it just all trial and error?
Total trial and error. Just, I had a good buddy, Chris, and he was a pretty good rider, and I followed him around a lot and out in the hills just learning to ride. Finally, a buddy of mine took me to the track, and that was terrifying because there's really good riders and they're jumping over your head and all this stuff's going on around you. So it was kind of a slow transition for me. At this point I'm like around 18 years old and I'm on a dirt bike and dudes are shredding and I have no skills.
And you're just loving every minute of it.
I am. I'm out there. I'm doing it. And all I want to do is jump the damn thing. I don't really know too much about racing. I'm watching my buddy Chris. He wants to go fast, and I don't really get it. And but he does start to race a little while after that as he moves off and away. And unfortunately passes away not too long after that. But
sorry,
miss you, Chris.
So your transition, you're riding the dirt bikes, you're doing all this stuff. Where does desert racing come into play?
The desert racing in general was really never on the radar for me. I love this free ride aspect. I want to jump. I'm getting better at it. I'm understanding how to ride the bike. I can jump it pretty big. Freestyle is coming along. Crusty Demons has just hit your VHS.
Oh, dude.
Boom, it's in the thing. It's on the TV. Crusty Demons. Pow. So now it's just taking off in that trajectory, right? I totally forgot what your question was.
The desert racing thing. But
yeah.
On the free ride deal, let's divert the question a little bit. The free ride with Crusty Demons, are you tending to think that's the direction you're going to go?
I had no direction, and I still don't. I never thought, I watch my friends go to X Games and get paid. I watch other friends go to 1X and other teams and get paid. I just like the aspect of doing it and involving other people and watching them do it and just having fun doing it. I'm loving living it. I don't really post too much about it, and I'm just around it. I just love it, So
the motorcycle riding experience is what you're talking about.
Yeah, and free riding and being in the hills and just being on the bike or the snowboard and being outside and I've never really had a direction with it other than just to go do it and have that feeling of floating and just turning off the rest of the world and being able to go fast or jump high. Just
it's kind of a disconnect.
Yeah, for me it totally is. So, and I want to do that every day, and I try to ride, almost every day, and so it's just I'm going to do it regardless.
That's awesome. So, how did the race thing happen?
The race thing happened because I'm living in Claremont, and I'm bouncing on my trampoline with a wakeboard on my feet and a rope connected to my roof, and I'm practicing tricks because I'm into wakeboarding at this point. And I'm dirt biking and doing all the other stuff too. But my neighbor pops his head over my fence and is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm practicing for wakeboarding. And he's like, "I like wakeboarding. I have a house on the Rio Harde in Mexico." And I've seen the video and I know about the Rio Harde. And I'm like, oh shit, can we check it out? So I go to Mexico with Justin and we're wakeboarding and he's like, "I ride dirt bikes too." And I'm like, "Sick." So we go ride dirt bikes as well. And eventually he's like, "I'm going to race dirt bikes down here in this record off-road race. You should come with me." And I'm like, "No freaking way. You're out of your mind." We're riding together, free riding and having fun. And so whatever. Justin takes off. He goes to Baja. He races Ironman's, the record race. And he comes back into the neighborhood after the weekend. He drives by my house and he holds up a trophy in his window as he drives by. It's a second place trophy. And I see him, "No way, dude, you did it?" And he fucking kicked ass. Sick.
Well,
so
this is the family show, bro.
Oh, sorry. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna have to cut some of that shit out because I can't. I'm a contractor.
You're such a liar.
So repeat process. He goes down again for another race, drives by my house. He's got a number 1. I'm like, "No way." So he's having fun down there. He has a house down there. He knows Baja really well because he grew up surfing down there and all that. I know Baja as well because I've done San Felipe, my family, Ensenada trips and all that. Finally, Justin talks me into doing a race with him. We do a record race. It goes from the mountains to the beach and back up to the mountains, 50-mile loop. 4 loops is a 200-mile race. I'm terrified firefight, but I'm going with him and we're going surfing. We go surfing and all that. And it's race day, you know. I've never raced. I'm scared to death. I remember sleeping. This is my text. I'm sleeping in my tent. I can't sleep. I can hear the waves breaking in the distance, and I keep looking. I'm like, it's 2 a.m. It's 2:30. It's 3:30. It's, you know, it's time to go.
You're waiting for the start to go.
Fuck. Here we go. So we go. He's badass. He does the start. Comes around. We're like in second place or whatever, hands me off the bike. Oh, I go, it was sick. I saw race down, I got to the coast, I see the waves breaking, we're racing the waves and the coast and over the mountains, and I hand the bike off. It was awesome. We did good. We got like second place or something. So starts the kickoff of now we're in Baja racing dirt bikes. So
let me ask you a question. I'm deathly afraid of sharks in the ocean, and you'll actually get on a surfboard and go out in shark infested waters.
yeah, I mean, you race motorcycles too, right?
There's no fear there.
You put your leg over the bike?
I'm not even afraid of that.
Yeah, but the percentages of your injury on the dirt bike or even fatality is probably greater than you paddling out into that zone that sharks.
Jaws?
So let me go back to some of my history. Is my dad was an animal trainer and at SeaWorld, so I grew up around killer whales. There's a picture of me as a baby sitting on Shamu.
Oh, so there you go.
I've been in the water polo, I'm water trained, I've surfed my whole life, I've been around killer whales, dolphins, everything.
Oh, dude,
I moved to Portugal.
That's not a fair question,
Yeah,
right?
ocean, swimming, animals, dolphins, sharks are terrifying, but they're out there. There's other animals out there that are going to do more damage to you.
I like your rationale. I really do. I would totally put it the other way.
Yeah.
Because look at all the thousands of people riding motorcycles that never have a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, here's a perspective. Paddle out into the ocean with sharks or get on your dirt bike and rip through Baja with cows.
It's like playing Russian roulette with the cow or the shark.
I hit the cow. I haven't been bit by the shark, so. Yeah, no. But I have hit the cow, and I did break my femur, and I did get flown out. But we'd talk about that later.
Okay, well, I mean that's also part of it, you know.
Unfortunately, but yeah.
So you guys keep going down to the record races, and you did some core stuff.
Yeah. So code and record are like the little leagues to scores. You know, everybody knows about the Baja 1000. You could say Baja 400, nobody really knows. San Felipe 250, but Baja 1000, people actually know.
Baja Mill is.
Yeah. So, but smaller than that are other race leagues happening on the same race courses that cost you $500 instead of $5,000. And code and record are the two little leagues in Baja racing some of that stuff. So when Justin went down, he was racing record. I went with him. We raced record. Then we started racing code, which is on the East Coast. We actually won that championship in 2015, I think it was. Which is when the CR Racing, the 304X, noticed us and asked us to race for them at the 2016 Baja 1000. So now we've stepped up to the big leagues and the big money and all that. Now we're recruited to race for a team, so we're not paying the entry fees. We're expected to race our 150 miles and do well and hand the bike off and get a win or get their championship. So.
Yeah, to do the deed for them, because that's what you're.
Yeah, it's one thing going down.
Something out of it, but you're not getting everything. You're not putting out all the money.
Yeah, we're putting out no money. Racing for code and record, we would scrounge our money together and race with our buddies. Now we've kicked some ass and we've been noticed and we've been invited to race for an actual professional team. They're giving us per diem, which is gas money, to pre-run, lodging to stay, food, gear sets, all the stuff. So the entry fee's paid, we're paying nothing, but we're expected to ride hard.
So I have some words here, and you can explain them. The coastal section, night, trophy trucks, darkness, fear.
Yeah, because that first Baja 1000 was already like a big awakening, right? Like what it's going to be, how far we're going to have to go, all that. And I pre-ran for days on the East Coast where I would get the bike probably around 10 a.m. and ride for a couple hundred miles down the East Coast. At the same time I'm doing that, there's a rider on the West Coast pre-running his section northbound towards Ensenada, and he's not feeling too comfortable about that. I don't know whether it's being at night or the realization of the section he's in is where the trophy trucks are probably going to catch us. So I get asked to take his section.
How much pre-run time did you
So here's the problem. Like, he wants to swap out and go race a different section. I've been told now I'm going to take his section at night. I don't have a problem with that. I'm cool with racing at night. I know the program. I'm scared. I know the trophy trucks are going to be there and all that. But what I don't realize is how alive that San Catine and the coastal section will be at night partying.
I've never seen that section before.
No, not like that. And I've raced 10 other, or been involved in 10 other Baja 1000s, and depending on what time you go through there, like in 24, I went through there in the morning and nobody was awake, nobody was out there yet. I raced through the same section. But that night when they handed me the bike right at dark and the town was alive and the coast, there was 1 million people strewed out through the coast. I rode for so many miles of campfires, my eyes were burning from smoke and burning tires and just fire as far as you could see. Sections I pre-ran through, I had dialed in, there was 2,000 cars parked and they made their own roads through lake beds, and there's guys standing on top of trucks with flashlights. Go this way, go this way. You don't know who's saying which way, and you have 5 roads you have to choose from now. And like,
and people have screwed up all of your pre-running.
It's insane. They broke a dam and flooded an area that was 2 feet deep, and they were all there to party and watch people crash into the water and everything, you know. I got to one section, there's fire coming down the hill, and I couldn't comprehend what was going on, but they had lit tires on fire and they were rolling them down the race course, and I'm dodging tires that are bouncing and on fire, you know, coming, you know, like there was shit blowing up around me to register. They're shooting fireworks basically at me on the race course. I mean, they're blowing up, you know, like insanity. Like it's shocking.
And that was the first year you ever did that.
Yeah, that's my first Baja 1000, and I get the bike and they tell me there's a trophy truck coming, he's 10 minutes away, do you want a rear tire or do you want to go? I should have taken the rear tire, but I didn't know any better and I was scared, so I wanted to go. So I took off, and yeah, about 20 minutes later, Cameron Steele in the Monster Energy truck. Dude, I had pulled over to get gas at a Baja Pits, and I could see lights lighting up the mountains around me, and I dawned on me, I'm like, that's a truck coming, you know? And the Baja Pits is like, go, 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 because they know the truck's coming. And I look at the guy and I like, fuck no, dude. I see him coming. So I just sit there at the Baja Pits. I watch Cameron Steele launch out from behind this fence into this flat area. And he's doing, I don't know, 90 to 100. And he pitches the truck sideways and whoa, across this section in front of me, just dust and walk down into this valley. So I watched the first trophy truck come past and through and in, and how much roost and how fast he was going. And I'm just going, fuck, you know. I let the dust settle a little bit and I take off behind Cameron Steele into the night, you know, like knowing that Bryce Menzies is coming next,
right?
You know. But I probably rode that night as hard as I've ever ridden. You know, I was flying.
How many trucks went by you?
I only got passed by 3 trucks that night. Menzies caught me in the bottom of a canyon. Actually 4, because a truck caught me in a wash before that. But when Menzies caught me in this canyon, he lit it all up and I knew he was there. And I'm trying to get out of the way, but I'm stuck in this canyon and he's behind me for a while. Finally, I find a ledge and I skinny up on the ledge and he's gonna rip by me, but actually he kind of like cruises by me and gives me some space, and his co-pilot leans out the window and throws me a shaka. Woo! woo, and cheers me on as they pass me. Bryce Menzies in his Red Bull trophy truck.
Nice.
And I'm on the ledge, you know, and it's
because they're freaking working.
Yeah, it's three in the morning or whatever it was, you know.
Right.
Like they watched me. They were stuck. They were watching me rip, and they were stuck behind me, and I was going, and you know, I had to get out of their way, but they hyped me, and it was sick. And I got to the finish line, and I told even Cameron Steele, I'm like, thanks for giving the bike guys space and whatever, you know, giving me space or whatever. And he's like, we're bike guys too, and we're always looking out for you. So they're trying, but they're trying to win too. So like,
it's tough.
They don't always see you in the dust. And I've been told that even our bikes put out so much dust, they can't tell if we're a truck or a buggy until they're really up on us, you know. So
could you imagine being on a quad and being chased by a truck? Because it's kind of when the dust starts to come off, it's almost as wide as what a truck puts out.
It was lighting up San Felipe. This is 23 Baja 1000. I'm finding a spot to get out of the way. And I get to a zone, and a freaking quad comes cruising through. I had slowed down because I saw his lights and I was scared. I thought it was a truck. And then when I noticed it was a quad and whatever, I chased that fucker down. And he had to hang behind me for like 100 miles. But yeah.
Sometimes it's good to have a pacer.
It's not bad to have some extra lights out there at night and somebody to ride with, especially if they're kind of cooking like you and you can pace each other and you just feel good and safe and it's fun, you know.
You're one of the few motorcycle guys that has a wholly different perspective to ATVs. Are you looking for the best suspension technology for your sport ATV? Look no further than Elka Suspension, the industry leader in sport ATV suspension technology. With championship wins in prestigious events such as the Dakar Rally, Score, Best in the Desert, ATV MX, Cross Country, and Works, Elka Suspension has established itself as the go-to choice for athletes and enthusiasts alike. But they don't just stop at ATVs. They're constantly expanding into new markets, including UTVs, trucks, SUVs, pit bikes, snowmobiles, and more. Their commitment to innovation and quality means they're always looking to improve and adapt so you can enjoy a smooth ride wherever you go. Want to learn more about what Elka Suspension can do for you? Visit their website at elkasuspension.com or give them a call at 450-655-4855. They will always be happy to answer your questions and help you find the perfect suspension solution for your needs. So, chasing an ATV with the dust cloud that rolls off of that, it's pretty incredible, right?
It's unreal. Yeah. You fight to not let those guys pass you because, it's something else.
How much more respect do you have for the fast professional ATV guys than you did before?
Oh man, those kids are fast. They're nuts. They're hanging off the side of the quads, just hanging off. They're wide open. I've been passed by a quad doing over 100 miles an hour. They're no joke. They're like little trophy trucks. They freaking rip.
That's awesome stuff, man.
I
love hearing that. But, in our we had a brief conversation about brands. And, Honda is a diehard brand for myself. I can't say in the ATV world that they're doing the best for us right now. But overall, their quality is really good. But the reason I freaking despise KTM isn't because they built a bad motorcycle or they built a bad ATV. It's because when they came into AMA, they screwed it all up. They were building works bikes when you couldn't run works bikes.
Yeah.
And AMA let them do it, and basically they cheated, and that's how they won. I'm not holding anything against any of the riders. It was all done at the corporate level, and that's why I don't like them. And plus, their motorcycles are nowhere near the quality of Honda and Kawasaki. They're not even close to the Jet bikes.
Yeah, the shit flies off them all the time. We raced a KTM, multiple KTMs last year, and had issues pretty much every race. Lost a front brake in one race, which was probably my fault from going through some manzanita bushes, but I had to go over the summit after that, and down the backside of the summit there's 5-foot ledge drops and all that, and so to navigate all that without a front brake was just gnarly. But the KTM lost a shock in one race. We broke a subframe off in one race. I sheared the rear sprocket off in one race. Oh, we almost grenaded the motor in a race, but I think that was a mechanical issue. But Honda, previous year, 2023, we didn't have a single issue.
Right.
Just saying.
So that sprocket story, tell me the sprocket story.
Oh, the sprocket story is gnarly because we were fighting for a championship. Here we are at the 24 Baja 1000 and we're in the points lead. I get the bike at like 4 in the morning and it shoots all the coolant out all over the ground. Oh my God, our season's over. A random mechanic comes running down the hill. He starts wrenching on the bike. I had already thrown my gear in the truck, and believe it or not, about 45 minutes later, pop, 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 that thing's up and running. I'm geared up. I take off. It's popping, but finally it clears out, and I'm ripping, and I'm catching riders, and we're making up some ground. And I'm probably 150 miles into my section. I'm going over the mountains, and the motor goes. And I couldn't believe it, I get off the bike and I'm looking at the motor only to realize I see the chain dangling. And as I glance back, I see the rear sprocket. It's all the bolts have sheared off. It's just dangling there. I get my camel pack off. I throw all my bolts and all my stuff out. I'm looking at what I have. A couple of the riders I've passed have now starting to pass me. I'm trying to figure out how to fix this thing. I've tried to stop guys. Nobody has anything. Nobody's going to help me. I'm really remote still. But I find a nut, and I got one bolt, and a nut. And I get that on there, and I'm looking at the sprocket, and all my stuff's laying on the ground, and I go, I've used this paracord for other stuff before. So I cut a bunch of lengths of paracord, and I tie the other 5 holes in the sprocket on with paracord. Looking at it, and I got about 8 miles to get out of the mountains, and I start going pretty slow, and I'm looking back at it, and it's holding up, so we're getting going, and I get out of the mountains. I rode 8 miles on paracord to the Baja pits where
I would have saved that wheel as it was forever.
I'm so exhausted. I get to the Baja pits. I park the bike. They're looking at me because they're trying to gas me, and they're like, "Why aren't you going?" And I point at the rear wheel, and their eyes got really big. They couldn't believe, I was there on that. And they start working on the bike for me. Meanwhile, this little old lady, she makes me a sandwich and some stuff, and I'm sitting under the easy up eating a sandwich, and I'm just going, God, this race is just kicking my ass, but they get some more bolts on there for me, and finally I get out of that Baja pits and ride another like 20 miles to a highway section where we end up fixing the bike again, and we make it through the Baja 1000. We get the championship. So that's awesome. Never give up. Just don't quit.
Talk to me a little bit about, you're generally not a racer. You never experienced wanting to be a racer, and then you start getting picked up by teams like 365X, 138X, 423X, and what I would call the premier area is the 9X and the 19X. I mean, where did all that come from?
I think just putting your time in down there, it's kind of niche. You see all the new competitors coming after you spend a few years down there, and you have a lot of information you can share with them now. Social media helps a ton these days because everybody's connecting, they're coming to race, they want to know how to figure it out. The logistics are just so difficult. It's the main thing about racing in Baja is logistics. Where am I going? How far? Can I get gas? All these things. So now you have all this knowledge, and people need your knowledge, So as you start sharing that with people, the word gets out, and you start getting, offers to ride for more teams. So we also, with a lot of friends that wanted to experience it, created some of our own teams. So it was getting offers to race for other people. It was also getting my friends involved and picking up sponsors and figuring out how to do it and raise the money, and doing some of it on our own still as well. So
the hardest thing about racing in Baja is getting sponsors, isn't it?
Sponsors, do you want to go to work and just spend the time making the money, or spend that same amount of time on emails and conversations and trying to get product and things and money? So it's like a full-time job. You got to figure it out. But once you do, and you have your resume right, and you send it out to the right people, you can actually get a lot of help.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it as lucrative? I mean, because it's never been lucrative. So lucrative is the wrong word. Are there people out there still willing to support the Baja teams, even though it seems that Baja seems to be shrinking a little?
Yeah, it's a lot more difficult these days. I think it used to be a lot bigger. There used to be 150 bikes and racers and stuff. I think there's maybe like 50 now most of the time. So, but what we do have is ESPN airs a lot of the stuff, so there is some airtime, so the sponsors do like that. The Baja 1000 is still known worldwide. If you say Baja 1000 to people, they know what race you're talking about, so it really inspires people, so that helps a lot.
Everybody knows the Baja 1000.
Yeah, it's a big name, so people want to be involved, so that race just helps a ton. So if you're doing the Baja 1000, and people will get interested.
Talk to me about the 9X deal. I mean, because you're talking about the premier best desert race teams in the world. I mean, these teams are incredible. You have the resume with the 19 and the 9?
Yeah, so those premier teams actually. So I'd gotten hurt the year before. I broke my femur and took a year off, and then it was coming into San Felipe, and I got an offer to ride for the 22X. They were a big team. Shane Redline, who's got a lot of money, helicopter, a bunch of things. He put the team together, and 22X was a big offer for me. I was super excited. Just coming off a broken femur, I was working super hard. I broke my femur at New Year's basically, and San Felipe starts at the end of March. So I got the offer, and I was at physical therapy, and I was ready. I was hurt, but I was ready to ride and race. And then my spot got taken away from me, and I was pretty upset about that. So I had a bunch of professional friends that were ready to ride, and some of my own sponsors, Cresco and some other David Smith Contracting, some other big construction companies, because I'm a contractor, put up the money, and I was basically the 9X that year, and I went to San Felipe to beat the 22X, And I'll tell you one thing, every time you show up with that chip on your shoulder and thinking we're gonna show up and I'm gonna beat this guy up or whatever, it never works out. I always get my fucking ass kicked, Right. So we got our ass kicked. But I think we had a good shot at winning that race. We had a super fast rider go off the start, and he hit a booby trap. He hit a booby trap at like mile 5. It was a gnarly buried section of rocks in a big section of whoops, and he Supermaned off the bike at like 100 feet, and the bike was pretty mangled basically, and thank God he didn't get too hurt. The bike that hit it behind him, the dude got hurt, and it snapped the bike in half. Actually, the bike broke in half. It was a beautiful Honda, but it broke in half. My Kawasaki, actually, we were able to put it back together enough to keep racing it, to race mile like 60 or something, where I finally got to the bike and was ready to take the bike over. And I called the race because we had just come back from COVID and everybody was just on fire. It was San Felipe, nobody had raced in a while, and there was 40-something trophy trucks, right? And we're at race mile 55. The slowest bike is at like race mile 200 or something, and the trophy trucks are just smashing.
Minutes away from you?
No, they're on us because I just raced through some of them trying to find my bike. And as I'm racing through them, not racing, I'm on a bike.
The side of the track.
No, I'm on a bike, a pre-run bike, going to find my race bike because it's broken, and I'm gonna finish fixing it, and I'm gonna get on it and get to the next rider. So I'm on a pre-run bike. I'm looking for my bike. I'm trying to find my bike. I know kind of where it's at, but the trophy trucks are coming. I glance over my shoulder and I see a line of helicopters as far as you can see in the sky, probably 20-something helicopters. I know when a helicopter swoops in front of you, or you see one out there, and this is what they'll do when you're racing and you're riding and you see a helicopter come down and swoop in front of you, he's telling you to get the fuck out of the way because his trophy truck's coming behind you. Right? So when I look over my shoulder and I see 20-something helicopters, there's
no point.
There's 30-something so they catch me, and I see this trophy truck next to me nerf another trophy truck. I'm in the bushes, and they're so tight together. The next trophy truck that comes has a broken rear fender fiberglass flying off like an airplane wing, and I watch it cut a cactus in half, whop, and I watch it cut through the next bush, whop, whop, and I'm riding, and I'm like, if that was me, that fiberglass would cut me in half, you know? Right. And I ride through a ditch, and I get out of the ditch, and I look back and I see a trophy truck jump into the ditch and jump out of the ditch. And I was like, if I ate shit at the bottom of that ditch, he can't hit his brakes in the air because he landed 15 feet at the bottom of the ditch where I would be, you know? So I'm seeing all this, and by the time I get to my bike, and the rider who got concussed, and the other rider who's trying to ride the broken bike but wants to quit, and what I've seen and all, I called the race. I'm like, we're done. I'm not gonna let any of my friends die today because 40 more trophy trucks are coming, nerfing each other on fire, and we're not going to ride a dirt bike in the middle of this right now. So, and I got blamed for that. I got kicked off of that team after that, and whatever, you know, which led me into the 19X, which I really didn't even race for. You know, I helped them and whatever, but it's politics. There's a lot of politics involved in Baja, and I've watched tons of best friends they don't even talk to each other anymore, you know, because of Baja racing, and it's really stupid, like, image of how cool they think they are or whatever it is when they go down there and get to race or whatever. And anyone can sign up and go race professional Baja, pro, whatever. You don't have to earn points or anything. Go down there, sign up. I'm the 19X, I'm professional Baja guy, you know. But like,
you don't have to have any desert. There's no credentials. Like, you can't go race pro supercross unless you have a pro license and you've earned points.
Yeah, even local desert racing, you know, amateur, you know, blah, blah, expert, pro, you know, you earn your points and you gather up, and, you know, you're racing against guys that are on your level, and you know what's going on, you know. That's
the difference between, you know, I think Best in the Desert, they'll ask for not a resume, but they want some credentials for their pro stuff. Because I know with the pro ATVs, we came in with, you know, people from out of the country or that have never raced with them before, and they want to know, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Where does he come from? He has to. You got to give us something to just let him run in the pro class.
Yeah, it's not safe. You can't be out there going at not speeds of guys that are going at speed and
especially with
making mistakes. Yeah.
You know, and desert racing is a family, but you're racing.
Always. Once you get on the bike, it's a race. So
yeah, so you really have to watch out for that stuff. Talk to me a little bit about 2024 and some of the happenings that brought on the team and getting your guys yourself to a championship.
Yeah, pretty crazy. 2023 was a badass year too. I raced for David Smith of DCS Construction. He stepped it up and started his own team. We raced the whole season and fought hard to a second place championship. That pro team that beat us, they were just super fast. But I'm racing District 38 while I'm doing this, and we're camping in the desert having a blast. I'm sitting at the campfire talking to my buddy Ethan, telling Baja 1000 stories, and he's, I want to do this one day, you know. I go, okay, cool. If you really want to do it, you should, you know, race District 38 and get your desert legs, and which he does. He races the 23 season, he does well, so 24 comes around, and he works for Hodad's and is really good friends with the owner, and they say, cool, you've done great, and you did good at riding your season, got whatever, third place, we'll pay for you to go race in Baja. So 2024, I'm taking my buddy Ethan to Baja, and we're the 317X Hodad's race team, sponsored by Hodad's, right? So
Nice. Shout out to Hodad.
big shout out to Hodad's and everybody who sponsored us that season. It was amazing. So we are not a pro team. We have some fast riders, but we're going down there to have a blast. We're not going to probably win, but we're going to have more fun than anyone doing it, right? Show up to San Felipe. We fight our asses off. We were in third place coming towards the finish line, and the second place team unfortunately wadded up really bad, and we took second place. Not the way you want to do it, but that's just how it played out. Those guys continued on with their season, but we woke up in the morning to find out that the first place team got a bunch of penalties. So we took first place at San Felipe.
All right.
We're pretty much an amateur team. I got my buddies and some of their buddies, and we're first place in San Felipe for the Pro 30, right? We carried that momentum into the 400 or the 500. We do okay. The 400, we get first place. Actually, we rode really well. We're getting our shit together, and so we're leading the points championship now, heading into the Baja 1000. It's unreal, And then that goes back to earlier where the bike grenades in front of me and the sprocket flies off and all that stuff. But we finished the Baja 1000, and that earns us the 24 championship.
You brought up District 38. Do you know the history of D38 and SCORE?
I know they held some races out in our local desert back in the day. And
so back, and this is as back as far as I know, and I'm not, I can only go back into 80s, 90s range area, and District 38 used to be SCORE.
Yeah, right?
You were a SCORE champion or doing something well, you were racing District 38 or District 37 or both.
Yeah, District 37 is huge too. I've done some hare and hound and stuff up there, and excellent riders, bitchin' terrain. So if you want to, before you head down to Baja, District 38 and District 37, similar desert.
Actually, from the knowledge that I have of riding it, you go down into 38 to learn the whoops, you go to 37 to learn the rocks.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. You stepped back from racing a little bit. What caused that, and where did that put you mentally?
Mentally, it's great. I love it because anytime I get to throw my leg over a dirt bike, I'm super happy. But my going back to free riding is a neighbor of mine, Rusty, who's 15, just a phenomenal free ride dirt bike kid, and his good friend Cole Denny, Cole from SD. He rides in X Games and all that. So it's just inspiration again, just watching him hit the ramps again. I want to do that again. So getting back to ramp riding at Viejas, thank you, Bo, going to X Games, going to Dreamland, going to Metal Militia, going to Ripper Ranch, Jackrabbit Ranch, all these places with these huge jumps, and just getting involved in free riding again has just inspired me. I just said to my buddy the other day, I'm just having so much fun riding my dirt bike. And why would you do it any other way?
Do you think that you're going to end up back in Baja?
Oh yeah. I'll be in San Felipe. We're going to be the 400, or we hope to be the 400, but we'll go to San Felipe, and we'll probably be the 423X, at the end of March. So
What
Baja.
class is that?
That would be the 40 pro class. So yeah, so I'm 48 now. So I'm looking forward to actually getting a ride against 40-year-old guys. And even in a couple of years, I would love to chase down the 50-year-old championship. I would like to have another one of these that says 40 pro and then another one that says 50 pro. So I'm far from done with Baja.
That's pretty inspirational. You only got 2 years, maybe 1.5 to win your 40.
Oh, but I'm
Pro
just because when I'm 50 or 60, I can still race against kids and win that 40 championship.
It's true.
Just like I did to win the 30 championship. I mean, last 2024 when I'm, 47 I'm still beating 30-year-old kids, so.
I love to hear about McGrath and some of these guys coming out and riding these older classes and not winning.
Yeah.
And because there's some of these guys that they raced with from yesteryear that come out
that are still riding, that are in good shape, and
that never stopped riding.
Yeah.
And it's pretty inspirational to see it in the ATV world. For a while, we saw a trend where all your champions were above 40.
That's awesome.
It takes a little longer to significantly dissect how to make an ATV work properly and to ride it properly. So that's why some of your riders are older. You also get into cost and things like that. A 22-year-old kid can't afford to go buy an ATV
And build that type of machine.
Yeah, I mean, they just cost so much.
But from what I've seen in Baja, a lot of times on the quads, it's these young kids just hanging off the side of them wide open.
There's a huge group of guys that it's a lot of family.
Yeah, that's true.
Cousins,
it is.
and
Yeah.
brothers and sons.
Yeah.
And Felipe Valles down there has most of the teams or a lot of the teams, and his son is super fast. I think his son switched to dirt bikes this year.
Cool.
And they're trying to win. He's already won a score title on a quad. Now he wants to win it on a motorcycle.
Sweet.
And they just they grew up doing it.
Yeah.
I remember when he was a tag along guy on our team. And I was the guy building the bikes for the team. And you look at his bikes now, and you look at my bikes then, and they almost look identical.
Yeah. Imagine that. Sweet.
He's a really smart guy. He's taken some of the suspension to another level.
Heck yeah.
Well,
technology keeps ratcheting up. So.
Well, I went to a suspension guy. I built the chassis and went to a suspension guy. He's
in there.
Taken over some of the suspension.
Sweet.
In San Felipe.
Oh, could you imagine? Just your backyard is the biggest, gnarliest whoops to exist.
It's just crazy stuff, man.
It's San Felipe, man, with the rocks and the whoops and just the treachery. San Felipe, even the trophy trucks say San Felipe is the hardest race on their equipment because you just got to figure like the coat hanger effect.
Yeah.
It's just flexing all the steel and flexes and just so much whoops for so long. It just breaks everything.
We talked earlier about chasing in the pre-conversation, but what a road, that's Wild West of racing is the chase truck world,
The chase race.
Yeah, everything goes, right? Side roads to freaking cattle roads to passing on the left, it's just all crazy. I like to be at every pit. Well, in the 250, I can make all but one, which is
it's hard. Yeah,
super hard.
Yeah.
Well, I went out to pit one, and stood right before pit one and stood at the whoops, and looked at those things and
Zoo Road probably.
Way would I ride this?
Yeah,
it's just too crazy.
And it goes for as far as you can see, too.
Ryan, it's been an awesome time, awesome conversation. We're going to have to do a part 2 because there's just too much. But are you ready for some questions? I want you to just fire back with the answers. I don't want you to think about it. Just fire it out there, okay?
Bring them.
What's your favorite racetrack?
Favorite Verona right now. It's just so fun. It's dialed in. It hasn't always been my favorite, but right now it's my favorite.
Who's your toughest competitor?
Obviously myself, but I think Baja, you have to show a ton of respect. Baja wants your respect.
So Baja itself is.
Baja, yeah, you have to just really, yeah,
I agree with that.
big time.
What is a pre-race ritual you never break?
Pre-race ritual. You know, I really don't have one. I'm kind of a derelict. I just do whatever we're doing, you know, and they tell me, hey, Ryan, the bike's coming. You better put your gear on. Then I just put my gear on and I'm ready to ride.
You don't put the right boot on first or the left boot on first or adjust your goggles a certain way. It's just.
No, I mean, no.
Dream ride outside of racing.
Dream ride outside of racing.
Because there's rides all over the world that you can go on.
Yeah, you know, just adventuring through Baja with my buddies. Like, that just, it doesn't really have to be like a particular ride, but if you got together a group of even like 4, 5, 6 friends and you decided to leave Tecate and just head to San Catine or down there, wherever you're going, that's just a special place to be with your friends. That's the dream. We don't need a race, just with your friends having fun.
That is awesome. Ryan, it's been a pleasure. You've taken us on a journey that I never thought we were going to go on. A guy that never wanted to race, never knew about racing, coming from a sport that has nothing to do with a twist throttle or an engine. That's pretty awesome stuff. Your heart and passion for your friends, I think, is the biggest part of your journey here, not the journey of I want to be the greatest racer in the world. And that's rare. That is a really rare thing. And I appreciate that. I really do.
Cool. Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
it's
same.
pretty awesome stuff. I like the helmet. I have a similar version of Fly helmet myself. So that's it's really great to talk with you. I said just a minute ago that we need to do part 2. I think we need to do part 2 because the story of Ryan Stevens is still going, and we only got this much.
yeah. We got a lot of adventures going on. We just went to X Games. We're doing a ton of free riding and some really massive jumps and insane stuff going on that I'm partaking in right now. So we'll talk about some of that.
Passion for life sounds what it's like at all.
Yeah, big time.
Thank you very much for being on the show, man.
Sweet, thank you.
Pleasure. What's the best way that people can get a hold of you on social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever platforms you're on?
I'm on no platforms. The only reason I'm on Instagram was because sponsors that were helping me out kept asking me, what is your Instagram? So it's Baja Prepped. Baja, Prept. And I'm on Instagram, and that's
At Baja Prepped.
Yeah. You'll just find me on Instagram, Baja Prepped. That's it.
Excellent. Everybody look for Ryan on Instagram. You'll get to see his show on YouTube as well. Thanks again, brother, and stay in touch.
Thank you.
Subscribe.
Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show.